Hey, it's RayseTheGame. Stop scrolling, because in this video, I'm gonna help you to help your teenager go up 4 grades in maths. And here's the big statistic: 55% of students in Ireland get grinds. In a Leaving Cert year, 60% of those 55% are getting grinds in the subject of maths. So that's a third of Leaving Cert students are getting extra tuition in maths. That's a lot of money. That's millions and millions of euros. Why? Because of the extra points. And only last year I had a student come to me after the mock exams, let's call him Max, and at that stage he was failing the subject of maths. In fact, he was at a H7, and within 4 months he got to a H3, and I'm going to give you the hack. I'm going to give you the system of how we got him to a H3. Now here's the big thing: I'm a study coach, I'm an ADHD study coach, I'm a school motivational speaker, I'm not a maths teacher. But the big thing about maths, and you have to remember from the start, it's a mindset. Maths is a mindset. The thing about maths is you can't rote learn maths. And only this morning I was coaching a student, we were working on biology, we were looking at the topic of ecology, we were looking at flashcards. That is a subject you can learn. That's a subject you can actually study, and using study technique. And my favorite technique is active recall, and we were using flashcards to help him learn off those flashcards. But with maths, it's a mindset. It requires something different. So what did this student Max do last year? And what you have to remember with maths, if you've got this one thing, if you've got this one big thing, this is going to change the game. And that one big thing is algebra. Algebra. If you've got algebra, you've got the language of maths. And the thing about algebra is, it's like changing gears in a car. It's like in football, being able to take a good first touch. In golf, it's like a good golf swing. If you've got algebra, you're in business with maths. And here's the big thing. During COVID, a lot of students who didn't get second and third year classes, maybe because their teacher wasn't good at online delivery, maybe they couldn't use Zoom. For many students, they lost first, second and third year because they weren't getting the classes online. They weren't able to practice the maths. They weren't getting the classes. And as a result, in 5th and 6th year, they really struggled. So here is my framework of help to help your ADHD teen study maths more effectively. It's this: PPP. The first P stands for practice. You have to practice. Like any skill, if you want to get good at golf, if you hit 100 golf balls a day, you'll get better at golf. If you're in the car for 15 minutes a day driving, you're going to get better at driving. If you practice basketball and hit 1,000 baskets a day, you're going to become good at basketball. It's a skill, and it's something you need to practice. And one of the big things about maths is, and you have to remember specifically for Leaving Cert, that the past papers are key. And the interesting thing is, paper 1, paper 2 is split into topics. So in paper 1, algebra, complex numbers, we have calculus, sequence, financial maths, area and volume. Algebra impacts all of those. In paper 2, stats, probability, geometry, trig, maths impacts some of those. So if you've got algebra, you've put in place this foundation, you've got the building blocks. It's like having a really good golf swing. It's like being able to drive that car, and now you can shift through the gears. So the first P, you gotta practice. And you have to remember, in school, they teach the syllabus. With a grind, they're focusing on the tests. So you gotta go to the past papers. And the big hack is, when you're doing your homework, when you finish your homework, go and look at a past paper and see how do these questions, how will they be asked in an exam? Which brings me to the second hack, which is problems. You gotta practice the problems. The more problems you practice, the better you're gonna do. So if you've got the past papers, if you're practicing the problems, you're building the skill, and you get all over algebra, you're going to do well. The third big hack when it comes to maths is patterns. You gotta be able to pick out the patterns. So if I said 2 plus 2 equals 4, 4 plus 4 equals 8, 8 plus 8 equals 16, what's the next pattern? 16 plus 16 equals 32. And this is why Elon Musk has spent millions upon millions upon billions acquiring X. Why he spends billions turning Tesla into the biggest AI company in the world, because as those cars are driving over the roads, they're tracking the roads. In other words, they're looking for the patterns. On X, he's looking for the patterns of behavior. On the road, he's looking for the patterns of how to drive. And that's what we need to do with maths. You got to look for the patterns. And that's why the past papers are crucial. That's why with maths, you got to come at it not from a left brain perspective, but from a right brain. Your left brain is logical, right brain is creative. Creativity is where you notice the patterns. And always remember that in any topic, and the big topics you need to know: algebra, once you've got down algebra, then trig, statistics, once we've got functions and calculus. If you've knitted all those together, you're going to get to a H3. And how are you going to do that? Here's my big tip for all my students. We're working on this on Friday on my coaching program: 5 problems a day. And if you do 5 problems a day consistently over the course of the school year, you're in business. Your grades are going to lift. Why? Because you're building that skill. It's all about practice. You got to practice the problems, and then you'll start to notice the patterns. So if you want my favorite study techniques, you can get my 5 best study techniques for dyslexic, ADHD and dyspraxic students by clicking here. If you want my coaching, go to RayseTheGame.com. If you want me to come to your school, go to RayseTheGame.com. And remember guys, day by day we are raising the game.